So Sony just released some absolutely incredible trailers for Across the Spider-Verse. And the new trailers tease out some very fun stuff for the film. But there's something else going on in this trailer that not a lot of people are talking about. For the first time ever, we have actual evidence of this movie tying in to the MCU and even Secret Wars. So I want to explain what's going on in this trailer, and then using the powers of being a gigantic freaking nerd, I'm going to cross-reference the stuff in this trailer with all the other leaks and rumors that we've heard over the past year and explain to you what I think is going on with Sony and Marvel possibly working together for Secret Wars. So smash a freaking like on this video and let's begin. Okay, so first up, there are two trailers out there right now for Across the Spider-Verse, and in the international trailer, you actually get dialogue from the three live-action Spider-Men. This was something that My Time to Shine Hello had teased out last week, and it did indeed come to fruition in that international trailer, and I think it is our first clue that a bigger connection between Sony's plan and Marvel's plan is coming. Now, the basic plot that the trailer shows us is Miles Morales being a hero, but having trouble juggling that with his real-life responsibilities. You know, basic Spider-Man problems. We see Miles fighting the Spot, who strangely is rumored to actually be the true villain of this film, and maybe even the true villain of both movies, as Across the Spider-Verse was split into two parts. However, the trailer takes a turn when Gwen Stacy brings Miles Morales to a multiversal haven referred to as the Lobby. Here he's introduced to Miguel OHara, who is said to be the person that created the Lobby and brought all of these Spider-Men together. Miles wants to be a part of this elite spider team, to which Miguel says, "You can never be a part of this." And this is immediately followed up by a line where he says, "And don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999-99. And that line of dialogue is absolutely huge for several different reasons, but we'll come back to that. Let's just keep going over what's actually shown to us in the trailer. That whole meeting is then interrupted by Peter B. Parker and his daughter, May Parker, and essentially Miles is told that he can't go home, and then he tries to escape. Now, there's a lot of scattered dialogue in this part, like essentially you see Miles saying, "You knew about this," and I think this is going to be the fact that Gwen essentially knew that he was going to be brought to the Lobby and not allowed to leave. And then it's like at this point where Miles goes to escape, he tries to run away, and then Miguel puts out the order for all the Spider-Men to stop the Spider-Man. We get the really funny finger-pointing meme thing done to the extreme, and then they all go and chase Miles Morales. We do see one shot of the Spot, or perhaps a variant of the Spot, in a huge chasm filled with interdimensional portals, and the Spot in this shot does not seem to have any of the portals stuck to himself. And essentially you get Miles saying, "Everybody telling me how or what my story is going to be. I'm going to just do my own thing," which is awesome. However, the weird part of all of this is that it paints the picture that Miguel OHara is actually going to be somewhat of a villain or an antagonist in this movie. And even in some of the shots, he looks deranged. He almost looks like a vampire of sorts. And I think the basic idea here is that Miguel has knowledge of the multiverse, has knowledge of some problem for Spider-Men, and he's going around recruiting these spiders, and this is likely something to do with the spider totems. If you don't know what the spider totems are, it is a part of the Spider-Man lore where essentially all throughout the multiverse there are these totems, which are essentially the Spider-Men of different universes, and they have a connection to this thing called the Web of Life and Destiny. This is a multiversal fabric of time sort of thing that characters like Madam Web are able to tap into to get abilities like clairvoyance. The TLDR, for those of you that aren't quite nerdy enough to just simply get it, is that Spider-Man also have an important role in the multiverse. There's something about these different spider characters that ties them to destiny, to time, and to things throughout the universe. And it seems like the reason Miguel OHara doesn't want Miles Morales to actually be a part of the team is because he has a tendency to not follow the rules, and he's unpredictable and somewhat flippant with the way he interacts with the multiverse. This is probably based off of the first movie. But him bringing up the little nerd and Doctor Strange on Earth 199999 actually really pulls this all together. This is likely going to be a part of the film where Miguel is explaining what is going on with the multiverse, which is likely some big overarching danger, and he's going to explain how the different Spider-Men are involved with this. And the events of all of the Peter Parkers coming into Earth 616, or as he calls it, Earth 199999, that event and Doctor Strange himself are likely also viewed as a wild card of sorts, as something really bad for the overall multiverse. Now, with the discussion of Uncle Ben dying and a lot of hints towards Miles Morales' father perhaps dying, it would seem that inevitability and loss is something that's also going to be talked about in the film itself. There are some lines in the trailer that seem to hint at Miles Morales having a choice between saving his father and saving everyone, saving the entire multiverse. So that's what I think is going on from the perspective of this exact film, but there are a lot of clues that this also ties into Marvel's plan with Secret Wars. We know that Marvel Studios is building towards Secret Wars. They're going to have a whole bunch of variants of Kang the Conqueror playing this massive role in setting that up, including a heavily rumored version of Kang the Conqueror that will essentially be the Beyonder. And we also know that Marvel Studios badly wants all three of the live-action Spider-Men to be in Secret Wars. They want Tobey, they want Andrew, and they want Tom all on the screen together. It's also been reported by some very reliable people that Tom Holland's Spider-Man will be the lead character in Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. He may not lead the Avengers team, but a lot of the movie is going to come from his perspective. He's a very important character for that film. When it comes to Sony, we have heard that they are building towards some big live-action event film themselves, currently rumored to be a version of Spider-Geddon. And this will kick off in the Madam Web movie, where you're supposed to have this rumored time-traveling plot where essentially some characters are going to try to kill a young Peter Parker, try to kill one of the spider totems. The events of the Madam Web movie are supposed to tie directly into Venom 3, according to a lot of the leaks, in which you will see Venom trying to get the young Peter Parker in his universe, and essentially he wants to kill this Peter Parker to start off with because he understands that the destiny is for Peter to kill him. But the rumors suggest that Venom and Eddie Brock will start to see this young Peter Parker as a child and maybe even their child, and that they're going to support this kid and watch over him and protect him. And we've been waiting so long to try to find out if there's actually going to be a connection between this big plan that Sony has and this big plan that Marvel Studios has. And so I think this movie referencing Doctor Strange and the Tom Holland variant of Spider-Man is going to end up being huge. But it's actually because they reference Doctor Strange that has me really thinking that Sony and Marvel are probably working together and their plans will interact with each other. There's a new set of rumors all about how the battle for the entire Marvel multiverse is essentially going to come down to Doctor Strange versus Kang, and that line that the Illuminati say in the Multiverse of Madness about the greatest threat to the multiverse being Stephen Strange, that's actually true, and it's going to bear itself out in the Marvel multiversal movies. We're not entirely sure how that's all going to shake out, but we've heard there's a rumored third Doctor Strange movie that's said to be coming out before the events of the Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars, and this Doctor Strange versus Kang thing is going to be huge for what they do. I also think that Miguel referencing the Earth of the MCU Sacred Timeline, or what we would call the 616, as Earth 199999 is another massive clue. I mean, if you just think about it and you think about the Illuminati from the Multiverse of Madness movie, you'll remember that those characters are charting out the multiverse. They are way ahead of Earth 616 in many ways, but they have cataloged our Earth as 616, and we don't see them actively going around the multiverse. They're still learning a lot about the multiverse, but if you look at Miguel OHara, he has enough technology to not only know about the multiverse, but create a way in which spider people can travel through the multiverse, and perhaps even more than spider people. So that is technology far beyond what we see even the Illuminati of 838 have. And I think the number 616 is obviously way smaller than 1999-99. This is another clue that there's so much more of the multiverse that this Miguel OHara has encountered. So Miguel is essentially way ahead of most universes as far as understanding the multiverse and seeing the potential threats that are out there. So whatever he is doing as far as bringing all of the Spider-Man together is far beyond the scope of even what we've seen with Kang the Conqueror in the current MCU. And I even think in some of the shots where you see Miguel looking very angry chasing after Miles Morales, he kind of does look like something like a vampire. It reminds me a lot of the actual inheritors. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this first part of the movie actually ends up revealing that Miguel is either working with the inheritors, maybe he's become an inheritor himself, but he's doing something that he views as good for the overall greater good of the multiverse that might end up being nefarious to the different spider people. But even if he's just trying to protect the Spider-Man from doing something that would interfere with the different universes to perhaps prevent incursions, that's still a massive deal that's going to connect this character and the story that Sony is doing in these next two Spider-Verse movies with what Marvel is doing. It is even possible this movie will do some of the heavy lifting to explain why Spider-Man are so important for the fabric of time and for the multiverse, which would also in turn explain why Tom Holland is so important to the next Avengers movie, and it could explain why the 3 live-action Spider-Man are so crucial to defeating Kang in Secret Wars. And the connections back to Miguel and his multiversal travel and whatever we're going to learn in this movie, I think will bridge the gap between these two worlds so you could actually still get the live-action Spider-Man to basically help out in Secret Wars and then go do Sony stuff over in Spider-Geddon with a ton of other Spider people, including perhaps this new Spider-Man that is being built up in the Madam Web movie and in Venom 3. So there you have it, guys, my breakdown on the trailer and why I think it actually does prove that there's a connection between what Sony is doing and what Marvel is doing leading into Secret Wars. Let me know your thoughts about it. Smash a like on the video. And if you want to watch more, why not check out this sick video I just made all about some crazy rumors for the Star Wars Ahsoka show.